I do a protocol which is pretty intense, designed to amplify growth hormone.
Yeah, so I'll spare you the expense. The amplification of growth hormone from alternate heat and cold exposure is so tiny that it basically affects almost nothing as far as anabolism is concerned or recovery is concerned. Hey folks, Dr. Mike here for RP Strength. I've been a long-time professor of sport and exercise science. I'm a competitive bodybuilder and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu grappler. And today I'm going to be analyzing with my super analysis eyes, science, Dr. Andrew Huberman's workout routine. Am I going to be nice or mean? Never can tell. Roll camera.
My training week starts on Sunday.
That's insane. It's supposed to start on Monday and it's supposed to be chest.
Sunday, I make it a focused effort to move as much as possible, ideally outdoors.
I will say that getting real physical on a Sunday is kind of cool because most people have the idea to get physical on Monday and then all the shit is crammed. But Sunday, cool time to really get to it. Well, I will say moving around outdoors on a Sunday does get you into a lot of the parks and rec areas with a ton of other people who have the same idea. Anyway, I'm judging too soon. Let's see where this goes.
So what I'll do on that day is, because sometimes it's a social day with other people in my life.
I wish I had that. Scott, what are you doing this Sunday?
Busy. I have plans. I've had them for a long time.
Are they outdoors with other people?
No, it's not business or whatever.
It's just not with me.
Yeah.
Got it.
If I'm on my own, I'll throw on a 8 or 10 pound weight vest and I'll head out for probably a 75 minute to a 90 minute slow jog.
Damn, that shit sounds hard. Make sure that if you're using weighted vests for jogging, that you've jogged for a little while with your own body weight. Adding weight to your jogging can put a little bit of acute stress on the joints. It's really good for you in the long term, but in the short term, it can be a bit much. If you're pretty good at jogging and endurance, the weighted vest is a motherfucker. Huge fitness benefits, bone building, insane cardiovascular endurance, great for overall health. And also, it makes having to try when you don't have the vest on so much easier. It's crazy. It's like Dragon Ball Z training with increased gravity. In this case, almost literally so, by 8 or 10 pounds.
And I'll try and nasal breathe the whole time.
Yes. Nasal breathing is almost certainly a gigantic waste of time. Humans were not meant to breathe just through their nose. The benefits of it are absolutely by no means clear. And if you can nasal breathe while you're exercising, there's a high probability that unless you're walking, you are not exercising hard enough. So I would say jog faster, put on a heavier vest, breathe through any means necessary. You will get into better shape, have better results, burn more fat, build more bone mass, more endurance, and all the good things will be even better.
Okay, so that's Sunday. Then Monday is, the goal for me is to train my legs.
That's cool. I wonder if his legs are tired from Sunday. Not a huge deal if you're willing to work super hard. If you're trying to get really at hypertrophy, muscle growth, trying to become a higher level bodybuilder, definitely good to train legs when they're more fresh. But for most people, this is a super sound way to do it.
So I start with tib raises. So it's going to be a couple warm-ups, maybe a 12 rep warm-up, an 8 rep warm-up. And then I'll do, 3 sets per tib.
Tib. I've done 3 sets per tib if I'm done.
Of anywhere from 6 to 10 reps. Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's actually quite heavy for tib raises. That's interesting. Unless you're doing this for some sort of rehabilitative perspective, the tibialis raises help your knees and ankles be healthier somehow, and your own experience. Say tib raises are usually a profound waste of time for most people. In hypertrophy and bodybuilding circles, it's not a muscle that gets judged, so training it is just a gigantic waste of time and energy. For people that want overall mobility and health and explosiveness and power, outside of the first several weeks of when you're doing endurance training, you're just not limited by tibialis anterior strength and performance. So I'd say tib raises are, like for most people, wrist extensions, probably not a wise use of time. If you want to do them like Andrew Huberman does, by all means, knock yourself out. It's not bad. But as far as limited uses of your time, don't you think that doing tib raises is going to be something that's like, you got to do it. It's part of the plan. Large muscle masses. The calves, the hamstrings, the quads, the glutes, that's where most of your concern should lie.
Although if my legs are still a little bit sore, that's when I'll train what I call torso. What I tend to do is overhead shoulder presses after a warm-up, 2 to 3 sets, working sets or maybe 4. I like ring dips and dips these days. Those are hard for me, but 2 or 3 work sets of those. So chest, shoulders, and I'm going to upset some people here. But I don't tend to train back every week. I do it every other week because I have some genetic abnormality where those grow really easily.
Damn, what's up with that flex? I don't have a problem with that anywhere in my body. Certainly not down there. Huh?
But I might do 3 or 4 sets of chins, sort of max rep chins, slow, with slow eccentric movements.
Slow eccentric's dope. Marginally reduces the probability of injury, and is otherwise super really effective. So really, really good. Pull-ups are awesome. But if your hand strength and grip ability is limiting you, your lats and all the muscles of your back aren't actually being pushed close to failure, and they're thus not getting their best gains. So if you want to train your back and your shoulders and your legs, like for stiff-legged deadlifts where you have to hold the bar as hard as possible and not have grip be a limiting factor, the Versa Grips tool is amazing. Yes, this is an ad read, you're welcome, but they work. I use them all the time. Matter of fact, I had them on just a second ago. For what activity, you ask? I said they're versatile, didn't I? In any case, there's a code, I think it's Dr. Mike, and there's a link in the description. So if you want to buy one, you'll make Mr. Nick Shaw, CEO over at P, a lot of money. And he continues to send me money for lunch, which is really helpful because I get to eat and have energy to make these videos. He said real money's coming at some point, but it was a conversation we had a long time ago. I tried to have it recently, and he was like, don't. Just don't. And I was like, okay, Mr. Shaw. I always call him Mr. Shaw, and that's what he likes.
For hypertrophy, for muscle growth, 6 to 30 reps, anywhere in there can get you hypertrophy if you go to failure and if you go hard.
Facts. Close to failure. You don't have to go to failure, but even 3 reps away from failure, anything between roughly 5 and roughly 30 reps has almost the equivalent effect of muscle hypertrophy. Going slightly heavier than that and slightly lighter still gets you great gains, but maybe not the most efficient gains. So this is largely true.
I personally like to keep my resistance workouts an hour or less. I like to train in the more or less the 5 to 10 repetition range.
If you're looking for a good measure of both strength and hypertrophy, the 5 to 10 rep range really is awesome. It can take a toll on your joints at some point, so you might have to do some high rep training here and again. But if it's totally fine for your joints and you want a really good mix of strength and hypertrophy, that 5 to 10 rep range, if you're gonna pick one rep range and you can feel free to do multiple, that's a damn good bet.
Tuesday is really about getting the maximum effect of heat exposure and cold exposure. I do a protocol which is pretty intense, designed to amplify growth hormone.
Yeah, so I'll spare you the expense. The amplification of growth hormone from alternate heat and cold exposure is so tiny as far as how much area under the curve of excess growth hormone stimulation you get, that it basically affects almost nothing as far as anabolism is concerned or recovery is concerned. Some people really enjoy heat and cold exposure, and it really allows them to relax in a really deep way, and that enhances recovery, and that's fucking sweet. But if you're like in a cold shower, dick all shriveled up, and you're like, Andrew Huberman said I should do this because benefits, and you're just not seeing the benefits of heat and cold exposure are wildly exaggerated. So, and they're definitely not going to make you more jacked.
So I'll do 20 minutes of sauna, hot sauna, up to like 260 now. Okay. 260, but I worked up to that.
Kudos. I hate the fucking sauna. It's just hot and there's nothing to do but stare at guys' balls. Wait a minute. I like the sauna.
20 minutes in the sauna, very hot, 3 to 5 minutes in the cold plunge up to the neck, back into the sauna for 20 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes in the cold plunge, sauna for 20 minutes, back into the cold plunge, 3 to 5 minutes, 20 minutes into the sauna, very hot, 3 to 5 back into the sauna, 3 to 5 plunge.
Motherfucker, do you have a day job? Holy shit, Scott, you've been keeping time on this? We're at 3 hours here. I'm kidding, but
it's amazing in the sense that you recover very well from the leg day.
There is no evidence that this improves the kind of deep recovery that allows you to grow better. It doesn't have an effect on the repair process. By muting some of the inflammation and pain receptors, it can mask the idea that you're still recovering under the hood and let you perform better sooner. But unless you're peaking for an important sport event, or you have to recover rapidly in order to get technical and tactical training in for sport, the idea that this improves your recovery is kind of a non-starter. Let me explain the good applications of this. So let's say you're a professional soccer player, or as they call it everywhere in the world except for the United States, football mate. I was going to say footy, but that's a whole different sport in Australian rules football. If you're a professional football player, actually of any variety, and you have to train multiple hours a day and be on your feet multiple days a week, and you have games, you don't want that huge delayed onset soreness response and the tightness and the swelling from your soccer training and even your gym training for strength to really present itself. Because yeah, it's going to get your legs jacked, but nobody gives a shit because jacked legs aren't super useful in soccer. Strong legs and endurant legs are. And also, if you spend half your time sore and tired, it degrades the quality of your actual practice. So if you strategically employ heating and especially cooling, around the times, especially after your harder practices, especially when the next day is a game or another hard practice, then what you have is absolutely that effect of muting those systems and an ability to continue to perform at a high level. And thus you get the cardiovascular benefits, the tactical benefits, and the technical benefits of more practice, but you get much less of the hypertrophic benefits. I guess in this case, you don't give a shit. But if you guys watching this give a shit, I wouldn't do this kind of stuff. And it doesn't recover your legs in the way of a deep recovery that at no expense to your muscle growth prepares you for next time. So give that some thought. Folks, there's still more video to come, but if you really like this, we have that uncut, much longer, much juicier version in our members section. Give a couple of clicks to it, see if you want to sign up, and maybe you'll like it. All right, back to the video.
You generate all the hormone neurotransmitter type of adaptations that one wants.
I'm not sure what those are. Neurotransmitter adaptations. He's a neuroscientist. He must know things.
And you get very, very good at tolerating heat and cold.
It's a cool skill, I guess. Scott's video guy, when we need that skill of tolerating heat and cold?
Michigan winners.
Michigan winners, folks. We do live in Michigan and film here. And we're here because I'm here, and Scott hates it here and wants to leave every fucking second of his life.
And Wednesday, I do one of two things. I'm either going to do a shorter duration than Sunday cardiovascular training workout. So I might do 5 minutes of warm up and then about 25 to 30 minutes of usually running for me, where I'm just trying to get out and cover as much distance as I can at a fast clip.
This is cool. It's a really good idea. I think he weighs like 240. The fact that he can run is really impressive. And he's like 100 years old. I'm kidding. He's like 50 or some shit, 48, which is just like, God damn, this guy's in some goddamn shape. I want to know what he's taking. I think it's testosterone booster. JK. The RP Hypertrophy app. Training for muscle growth is never going to be the same.
And I do train my neck that day as well. Having a strong neck, why is that so important? Well, it's important because you want a strong spine, and it's the upper portion of your spine.
Strong spine. I wonder which part of the spine is you referring to the musculature around the spine or the bones themselves? It's curious. Strong spine. I wonder what that means. Training your neck is cool. When you're Andrew Huberman size, the bigger your neck gets, the more, especially at his age, likely it is that you're getting obstructive sleep apnea, which is really bad. I'm in enough gear where I don't ever have to train my neck, and I also do jiu-jitsu and wrestling, so my neck's too goddamn big. But you can add neck training. And I will say, if you're doing rowing and deadlifting and overhead pressing and lateral raises, you get so much kind of ancillary activation of your neck, you probably don't have to train your neck. If you do want to train your neck and you want to be thoughtful about it, Jeff Nippard, give him a YouTube follow, is kind of the global authority on neck training because he's really invested into it and he's a super, super sharp guy. I would look into that.
I find it easier to look people in the eye. It's not hard for me to look people directly in the eye when I speak to them, but I find I just have like my posture and presence is just better.
Scott's video guy, what do you think about that? Your weak neck ever make it hard for you to look people in the eye, or is it just your patheticness?
Yeah, pathetic.
They don't have any medicine for that.
Terrible.
Weak personality. There's no gym lift for that, buddy. I was going to accidentally get into Jordan Peterson impression. Well, look at here, bucko. I mean, it's like if you want to go to the gym to try to get a better personality, I mean, that's just not going to work. Get out there and get a job. I mean, anything, and stand up straight. I'm done. Jordan Peterson, if you're by accident see this, you're the fucking man. And I'm just here alone. Again, Scott the Video Guy is an illusion. It's like Fight Club. There's just only one Scott the Video Guy. There is not even a me. Am I Scott the Video Guy? This is getting weird. Let's move on.
Friday is a really important day because Friday is the day that I do a short workout, usually only about 3 minutes of warm up and about 12 minutes of training. And the goal is to get my heart rate as high as I possibly can. I learned this from Andy Galpin. Just increasing VO2 max, getting those really fast twitch muscle fibers. My favorite way to do this is I'll get on the assault bike, which are the ones with the handles with the fan, and do 20-second on sprint, 10-second rest.
Fast twitch fibers for a VO2 max. The people in this world that have the highest VO2 max relative are almost all endurance athletes that don't have profoundly impressive fast twitch muscle fibers. If you're trying to train to get the biggest VO2 max you can get, it should be endurance training that is of a very high intensity. So something like doing a run that's not sustainable for you, a half sprint for a minute, a regular jog for 3, half sprint for a minute, so on and so forth, or just kind of what his Wednesday day looks like, which is pretty hard cardio. It's the best way to improve your VO2 max. If you're doing very rapid interval sprints in which your faster twitch muscles are the limiting factor, it just doesn't give your systems, the endurance systems, like your ones that power your VO2 max, enough workload total and enough time being pushed to the limits to get as good as you can.
And then Saturday is the fun one. I'll go into the gym in the morning, usually it's mid-morning, and I'll do small muscle groups, biceps, triceps, rear delts.
If you're training your back hard, doing rear delts by themselves is probably not a good use of time, but his back's too big, so it makes sense.
I'll do another tib and calf workout, a little bit lighter than the one on leg day because leg day is coming in 2 days. That day is really to round out the smaller muscle groups that need work.
So I guess he trains every day, right?
I mean, the Tuesday was just the hot cold shit.
Yeah. Okay, so every day but Tuesday. Tuesday's hot, cold shit. It's a fine workout. It's not something I would copy. It's nothing terribly wrong with it. It's quite good. It's very unique to Andrew Huberman's needs. I would say that most people would be getting a lot of benefit from training every muscle probably 2 times a week, if not 2, 3, or 4 times a week. So something like upper body Monday, lower body Tuesday, upper body Thursday, lower body Friday gives every muscle group a chance to be trained twice. And that is probably going to get you a high degree of strength, muscularity, mobility, always train with a super deep range of motion so you can get all those benefits. You don't even need to stretch. And then if you want to do some cardio in addition to those sessions, I think that's great. And many of the modalities you described are quite good. But, he's training his arms like once a week. He's training his legs sort of also once a week. And he's training his back arguably, once every 2 weeks, and everything else once a week. It's just not a sufficient amount of volume for most people to see their best gains in getting jacked. Now, it seems like Andrew Huberman's so genetically jacked that he needs to do this kind of low volume in order to just not get to be a fucking monster. So that's a dope problem to have. But for most folks, you're going to want to train a little bit more than he does and do more frequency and probably more volume as well. Yeah. I think there's a lot of good stuff to take away from this. I think the transient hormonal benefits and the benefits of heating and icing relative to just doing hard stuff are probably a bit overstated, maybe substantially overstated, but there's definitely a lot of good stuff to get out of this. And kudos, he's saying a lot of good stuff about exercise. This is not remotely his area of specialty, so it's easy for me to criticize him. If I said neuroscience shit, I'd just probably get out of the gates, stumble, and fall on my face instantly. So kudos. But I think that probably the best thing you can get out of this video is to look into folks like Peter Attia for medicine and longevity. Definitely look into folks like Andy Galpin and Brad Schoenfeld for hypertrophy insight. There's lots more people on that list, of course, that you look into. And really try to learn from experts that really know their shit. So Andrew Huberman, I'm terribly sorry that you have a genetic affliction to be jacked for no fucking reason. I'm jealous, and not low-key jealous, mega jealous. So I rate this workout as Mike is super jealous out of 10, which is kind of high rating my whole life. Anyway, see you guys next time. Woo, that was fun. I think I might go train with weights myself. I don't know, but I'm definitely going to click right over here to watch that next video. Peace.